Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back to another episode of Connect with the Quran. We try to learn it, love it, live it, and today, inshallah, we are on another beautiful surah, Surah SAJDA, which is surah number 32, and inshallah, we'll just listen to a recording before we get into it. So, Bismillah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. ألف لام ميم تنزيل الكتاب لا ريب فيه من رب العالمين أم يقولون افتراه بل هو الحق من ربك لتنذر قوما ما أتاهم من نذير من قبلك لعلهم يهتدون.
Sadaqallahu al-Azim. So those are the first three ayahs of Surah Sajda. So Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. So this is Surah Sajda. We left off at Surah Luqman. I just briefly covered one passage of it up to Ayah 11, where Luqman alayhi salam is giving guidance, hidayah to his son of how to be. And that's another beautiful direct example for us to take for ourselves and for our offspring. And about how not to be arrogant, about how to reconnect to Allah. So these surahs are from 29 onwards, which start with Alif Lam Mim. They have this theme about, reminding you of the mysteries of creation, of how to ponder on those things, so that you can connect that there's a creator. So here, these three, we said that this is about a book of which there is no doubt, and that's a theme of most of the huruf al-muqattat, that it always connects you to the book, to the Quran. And say they have forged it. No, he hasn't forged it. This is a reminder for those who hasn't come to before. It also comes in Surah Yasin, something similar, that their fathers knew nothing, and so it's a reminder to them. And so, illa'allahum yahtadun. Again, the idea, the connecting with hidayah, which we started all the way in the beginning from Surah Baqarah also, that this is a book of hidayah for those who will take heed. And the way to connect us to the Creator is to remind of the grandeur of above. If that doesn't, we have these awesome moments. We travel through these beautiful landscapes, mountains one side, streams the other side. If you happen to be going by train and it's in the morning and you see the sun coming out from there. And these are all subhanallah moments to connect you to the Creator. So I'm just now digressing, but saying that the idea of siru fil ard, to see the end of those who did bad, but extrapolating from that, when we are traveling for fun, for anything, siru fil ard, and get to the point of, it's subhanallah, who made all this beautiful thing? So the theme of gratitude needs to reappear here and all that. But if, again, this is also a short surah, it's only 30 ayahs, and bang in the middle there's a sajda, and inshallah we'll just cover on that too. But on 4 it says that it is Allah who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and then he established himself on the throne. And so look back to him. And whenever they have it, arsh, alal arsh, as different from in Ayat al-Kursi, where it says is wasi'a kursiyo. So the kursiyo is the footstool, maybe. This is the arsh he's talking about. So, and he rules all the affairs of the heavens and the earth. And it tells you the day of I can't give you more details of what the day, his one day is 1,000 years of our reckoning. So Allahu Alam, so when we say in Akhirah, it's going to be a day, how long is it going to be, what we don't know. So again, the knower of all things hidden and secret, and hidden and open, and 7 and 8 go on to how he created us out of clay and proportioned us, and he breathed it into us the spirit. وَنَفَقَ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِ. And so again, connecting, just looking, you can look at the grandeur of the world outside, but then come back and look at yourself. How are we created? Where do we come from? Here I'm sitting maybe all cool and arrogant and this and that and thinking I know what I'm doing after, what I'm going to do before. And just, you either trip, you hit your knee, you hit your feet, and you suddenly are hobbling. Or you're inside, something happens, you're coughing like you cough, and you don't know where this cough came from and what. And suddenly look at the panic level that comes in us. Ya Allah, we're not in control. We aren't in control of where we are or how we are in this. So those are all the kind of things that these ayahs, time and again, and if you read them consistently, will remind you. There was a beautiful tafsir we did in which they said that, after every 7 pages, there is mention of the akhirah, so that in one sitting, if that's how much you're reading, or in 1 week, even if you're reading a page a day, within the 7 pages, you're going to get reminded of the akhirah. And you're going to get reminded of the akhirah so that you know that this world isn't the be and end all of everything. So that's it. And they said, and I think I've shared with you in ayah 10, where it says that, are we going to be bones and, all lost? Are we going to be created anew? How can that happen? And that is, if, and Allah time and reminds us, what a stupid question that is. Where did you come from in the first place? Where on earth did you come from? Which whatever is, what is it, evolution, how did it come to where you are, whether you were going to be a male or female? How on earth did all that happen? Where did, so, and to this conversation we should have on our tongue, of knowing whenever people get arrogant, whenever people are thinking, but if there is God, if there is an akhirah. We have that in Surah Kahf about the guy, if I've been blessed here, what's it in the akhirah? Whatever is going on in the Middle East and all the, trauma they're causing to the people, where did they come from? They came because they suffered somewhere, and that's why they were given this land in the middle, which they weren't there, and now they are doing worse than what was done to them, to other people. Where is the sense? And these people have always, throughout the ages, whether in Spain, when the Isabella there was the Inquisition, there was all those things of how harshly they were treated and sent out of there, and then they found solace in all the Muslim countries. And yet these same people, how they are, the narrative changes. So come back, look at the Quran, and you'll see at every level, what are they talking about? And then I love the ayah to connect with that the truth is hurled against falsehood. But one day you'll manage, 2 days you manage. But the beauty of life, of just looking at life, whether it's the pharaohs, whether it's anybody else, even the Hitlers, anybody, they came but they went. They went. Where are they now? What's going on with them in the grave? Allahu Alam. So this idea of the akhirah is to bring you solace, the idea of looking at this beautiful world. What did I do? I can be a potter, I can carve a beautiful thing. You go to Spain, you have this beautiful glass, whatever I'm not even sure what it's called, but it's Venetian glass. It's supposed, they blow into the glass, they make these beautiful things, and you're wowing over it, or you're doing. But look at Allah's creation, subhanallah. Subhanallah, the water, the everything. So it goes on to this, and it comes to only those who believe in our signs, who, when they are recited to them, they fall down in adoration. They fall down in adoration and celebrate the praises of the Lord, and they're not puffed up in pride. This is in ayah 15 now. So I love this surah. Surah Sajda is also recommended to us to be reading at night. We are recommended to read Surah Mulk. We are also recommended to read this. I don't have the hadith to reference you to it, but if you Google, you should be able to find it. And this ayah 15, I'm only reading you the English. but it is an ayah of sajda. And why? They fall down in adoration. So we either have sajda ayahs which say they out of arrogance don't do it, so therefore you do it. And this is one of those that, to show that I am also in awe of Allah and singing His praises, I go in sajda. But I'll stop there and we'll pick it up from there, from that point onwards. So we're going for a break, and inshallah we'll be back shortly. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. We're looking at Surah Sajda, and I just left off with saying that it is recommended to be reading it at night before we go to bed, and it's a beautiful. So I stopped at ayah 15, which says that it's those who believe in our signs. And the truth is, inshallah, if especially after Ramadan, when we are able to read the Quran and in peace, and not just because it's a rote reading or because mechanically I'm doing it, I'm reading Surah Mulk at night, I'm doing this, and you just do it hurriedly and then you want to get on with it. No, if you are able to really ponder on it, and I'd like to think that we all have had moments where we have just wanted to go in sajda. I wanted this to happen, I wanted this to happen, and I'm getting irritated and I'm angry. And even if those wanting to do are good things, like, sending the child, the grandchild, or whatever, or to something good, you wish they would go and they're taking forever and they're not going and you're getting irritated, or anything else of that sort. Like, I wish they would come and they're not coming, and then they would. And if by Allah's decree what you were hoping for and what you were hoping for was a good thing, or generally anything, for goodness for yourself or for anything else, but if that happens, isn't there a moment when you just want to go in sajda? Like, even when you get the results of your exams, your high school exams, university exams, anything, and things happen the way you had wanted, and you just want to go in sajda. I love the example to see, in sports players, especially when they hit a goal. And it doesn't have to be that they're Muslim, but invariably after the euphoria and everybody jumping on them, whoever did whatever they did, the goal or something, that they go in sajda frequently. Now it might be more common, because we have so many Muslim sports people out there too, but otherwise it was that. And I found that so fascinating, that it's an instinct of human nature to want to, it just comes, and this is where I find the beauty of when we talk about the limbs. On Akhirah, they will speak against me, and I keep saying, Ya Allah, please, I hope my fingers, my hand, my eyes, my everything, they won't witness against me, but they will witness for me. Because, the body is in Islam. Whether I like it or not, my organs are responding to what Allah told them to do. The kidneys, the liver, the whatever. It's my abuse of them that they maybe go in disarray, and then they're not working the way they should be in perfect harmony. But that instinct to want to go in sajda has to do with that too. It's like in Surah Najm, when we get there, the ayahs were being recited, and then they all fall in sajda. And then they say, no, we were actually going in sajda because something else. But so this is also beautiful. And then in 16, I just wanted to belabor the point of the beauty of being in sajda. And so many reverts have talked about, they sort of worry, they've been Muslims in, how do you catch up, how do you come close to it? And the closest way you are in is when you are in sajda to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the next, I love this ayah, 16, تَتَجَافَى فِي جُنُوبِهِمْ عن المضاجع يدعون ربهم خوفا وطمعا ومما رزقناه ينفقون. And their limbs do forsake their beds of sleep, the while they call on their Lord in tama and in khawf, in fear, and in tama, in hope, and they spend in charity out of the sustenance. So the fact that it's mentioned at night, and the beautiful thing, and we know time and again, whatever is done quietly, whatever is done secret, our faith is not about blaring things out in pomp and glory. Yes, our faraid, our farz, we say in public, even if we have to, so other people get a message and take ibra, and they too, it's a reminder to the one who's not saying their prayers that it is time for farz and they need to say their salah. So that we have, but any nawafil, any extra, any good deed that you are supposed to do in the quiet, to the point where your left hand mustn't know what your right hand does, and so on. In other words, implying good deeds of that sort of charity do in quiet, especially the extra ones. And what is fard, you do need to let it out. The kalima you need to blow, like the new Muslims at the Kaaba. They said, listen, play it quiet, don't let the world know. He said, no, I'm going to go. And he went to the Kaaba and he said his shahada, and he was beaten up, and then he wanted to do it again until Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, listen, why don't you go? Just let's keep it calm for the moment. But those are the things. So, and 17, and no person knows what delights of the eye are kept hidden in reserve for them as a reward for their good deeds. So the beauty is that I know when we have the negative media coverage that we have against us, so we do have to work against it. But after that, the fact that we are doing 10,000 other good stuff, we don't have to bleat it out, broadcast it. The Muslims do so much good, but it is not, if you take heed and you see all the goodness and the hygiene and the this that we have, that is good. And we, encountering the social media, the everything, you do have to stand up. There's nothing, but at the individual level that you do, let your near and dear ones know and take ibra from the goodness you're doing, and to see. Unfortunately, we often say, oh, and this time and again it comes in the Quran, oh, but the followers of the Rasul, whether it was Salih alayhi salam, Hud alayhi salam, but the followers are the meanest amongst them. How can you, Nuh alayhi salam, the big shots are saying, how can we follow you when it's only the lowest, the meanest of amongst our people that are following you? That's what you think. In the Akhirah, they don't know what delights are kept for them. In Yasin, when we have that man who says, comes from Aqsal Madinate, and then he says, Ya Hasratan al Ibad, when he, whether they kill him, we left in limbo and know exactly what happened, but he's a shaheed, he's gone to heaven, and the first thing he thinks of is what delights are there for him, and he said, Ya Hasrat al Ibad, oh my people, how I wish you knew what, why didn't you listen to me and follow the Anbiya that came to you. So, to those who believe and do righteous, Allah's told, and then the rebellious are told what is in for them, and so on. But again, the good and the bad news is given to all of them. But if you don't take heed, well, that's your loss, because so from 23 to 26, our Rasul is assured that, before you there was a book of Musa alayhi salam, and he punished those who didn't believe in it, and he will bestow leadership to the companions of Rasul if they are strongly adhering to the truth. So against the advice that if you're on the right track, please have the tawakkul, the faith that you will be on track, and it will benefit you ultimately in deen, in dunya and in akhirah. And the disbelievers are threatened that if they regard this glad tidings given to them as very far-fetched and being made fun, like in Surah Rum when it was said Ghulibatil Rum, and they were laughing about it, to say that, it's the same as the way people make fun today. And it's horrific. Thank God it doesn't come on my internet, on the algorithm, about all the nasty thing people are doing about Muslims, making fun of them, mocking them or something. It's Rasulullah, and we are also directed, ignore it. In other words, also for us to take home is, don't keep looking at things what pain you on the internet, of things of how bad things are. No, concentrate on all how many people have been coming to Islam, how many people are now reading the Quran, how many people are coming back. So he's told, ignore these indiscreet, think of them as, ghafil, they don't know, they're indiscreet and so on. And we shouldn't worry about them too much. Let me just sort my own house in order, put my own house in order, first of all myself, but my whoever is in my sphere of influence, work under people, and so in our sphere of influence, we must think of those who work for us, whether it's a gardener, whether it's a house help, whether it's a painter who comes, everybody. But imagine if these people who come for maintenance to our homes and they keep coming to Muslim home and they see a uniformity of goodness on Muslim homes, how much impact will it have to them? They know when they go to fix whether the plumbing or the painting or whatever else in other homes, they're just there, they get their job done and they're gone, they're paid and that's it. Whereas when they come to Muslim homes, what adab, akhlaq, being fed, being treated kindly, being whatever else we are able to do, but that person who's working for you, and then he goes elsewhere and elsewhere, and he says, but Muslims always seem to have this. They're always at least generous to the worker who comes in, to the guy who does the maintenance, whether it's for the gas, whether it's for this or that. So it's those take-home messages we should be imbibing and doing it. And even who it's just me, one person doing something. No, trust and have faith that these ripple effects of one in the ocean of one tiny person, another tiny person, it all carries impact. And the best thing is, hal jazao lisan illa lisan, isn't there reward for goodness other than goodness? Allah knows that. So that is surely going to happen and come. So inshallah, for me the highlight of Surah Sajda is that there is a sajda in it. The fact that we are encouraged to stay up at night, not just in Ramadan, but even after, and on, and just be connecting to Allah and His beautiful mercy. And the tasbihs that we go on. If at Hajj we are saying, Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wan ni'mata laka wal mulk. So in our daily living, have goodness emanating from our mouth. Goodness for in tasbih, speak good. If we can't, keep my mouth shut. And Allah give me the tawfiq also of not talking garbage. So with that, I pray that something of benefit has been said and heard, and may Allah reward us for whatever goodness that we do. So Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. La 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 la.